What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's gonna be a super cool video because I'm gonna be showing you how I do my braided pony on my super short kinky 4C hair. I think it's the hardest when you have thick hair to get it to lay down flat, so hopefully this video can be helpful for anyone who has my hair type or wants to see how this style comes to life. So first things first, I'm going to be detangling, and I love my wide tooth comb. It just, honestly, it detangles so nicely. It doesn't rip or tug my hair, and it just feels good, to be honest. But yeah, I'm just going around and I'm detangling, making sure everything's as pulled apart as possible. I'm also working on hair that's already been washed and detangled, so it is a little bit wet right now. Okay, so this is where I feel like I kind of went a little OD, but I feel like I want the front of my hair to lay down as flat as possible. So I did take my blow dryer and I just went through the front of my hair. It has a little extension that clips on, so it's got like a comb on the front of it, but I'm basically just going around my head and just running the blow dryer through. It is on the cool settings, but honestly my hair is just so short at this point that I want to make sure that it's gonna pull up into the ponytail that I need it to be. So I'm going to be using Eco Style, the olive oil kind, of course. The first thing I'm going to do is pull out my baby hairs, or where I want my baby hairs to be, because I'm going to be putting a lot of gel, like packing on the gel, and I don't want the baby hairs to get swept up in that, because once they're up there, they ain't coming down. Next, I'm going to take this brush, and as you can see, I'm using a combination of the brush and my hands to slick the hair back. Right now, I'm not even worried about pulling it up into a ponytail or a bun. I'm just working on the edges and making sure it's as sleek and slicked as possible. When you have thicker 4C hair, sometimes it can be like harder to get up. It just does not want to. It doesn't want to gel down. I've seen other girls do it with ease and it's so easy, but it does take a couple of strokes with the brush for me to get mine all the way up to the point where I like it. So I just work in sections. As you can see, I'm not worried about the hair as a whole. I'm going to do one section at a time. Alright, so after I do the first side, I'm just going to go ahead and pin it up and separate it, and then I'm going to work on the second side. Again, I really have to do this because the hair is so thick. I've tried to do it before where I just try to do it all at once and it just doesn't work. That's how I end up with that big old knot in the middle of my head, and I want it to look seamless and flawless. So yeah, and look at this. Look at that. Look at that. Just a shame. Just a shame. The 4C struggle, that's all that is. That's all that is, the 4C struggle. If that doesn't tell you how thick my hair is, then... But yeah, it's very important because this is just gel holding up my hair at the end of the day, but I do pack on a lot. I do layers and layers and layers. And I find that's because I want it to be kind of hard when I'm finished. This is an up style, so it's meant to look sleek. I'm doing a braided pony, so it's not going to be necessarily any hair that I have to match to this, but I definitely want it to look uniform together. So when I'm pulling it up, I'm trying to make sure to press down as much as possible, just so there are no bumps. As you can see, my little curls are already trying to poke through, but I just have to keep slicking and pulling and brushing and keep repeating those steps and get it as slick as possible. So after I've pressed down, I'm going to go ahead and put it up in the first ponytail quotation marks, because I'm going to like redo this 1,000 times, but I'm just going to pull it up and get it out of the way so I can focus on putting my second layer of gel on top of the first layer. Like I said, I put a lot of layers, but I want this to be flat. I want it to look good. I want it to be sleek and professional and yada yada yada. So I'm just taking again my hands and the gel, and I'm going in and just making sure to really get the root. I feel like that's where I need it the most. I'm just making sure to brush it, get it as sleek as possible. We are going to put a scarf on top of this to help lay it down, but again, I feel like the more gel I put on top and the more I brush through it, it gets rid of those bumps, and then it just slicks the hair back as much as possible. Alright, so next is time for the edges, and I usually don't even do the edges this early, but I kind of accidentally brushed up all the edges that I had separated earlier, so I wanted to make sure and separate these edges because, like I said, once I put my scarf on and I slick it down some more, it's gonna get hard, so I need to pull out the edges before everything sets and dries. In terms of edges, honestly, I just kind of do the bare minimum. I usually do 3 on each side, kind of towards the side of my head, so 2 going down and then the third one right where my sideburn is. I don't do one in the middle at the top because I feel like it looks weird on me, let me be clear. I see other girls do it, but for some reason this is just what I do. It's just 3 on each side. A little simple something. Again, for this style, I just feel like it makes it look a little bit more put together, but also if I want, I can brush it up and just have no baby hairs at all. Alright, so next is going to be the wrapping portion of this video. So I'm using this scarf, and I love these scarves because they're just so open, so you can tie them around as many times as possible and just really set your hair. Another great thing I like to use are wrapping paper. You can pick them up at the beauty supply store. Those are super helpful also. If you want to quickly get this dry, like dry, then you can do wrapping paper and set it under a blow dryer, but usually I do this style and set it overnight, so by the time I wake up it's completely dry. So I'll just wrap it up in a scarf, and then I'll put a bonnet on top of this scarf, and if I'm being OD, I'll put another scarf on top of it, just because sometimes it can slide, and it's just really important that this look is dry by morning time, because if it's not, that's a problem. Alright, now it's time to do the jumbo braid, and this part is super easy. So I'm just taking 2 packs of Kinggmaddie hair. I'm going to use this rubber band and I'm going to loop it through. After I put the rubber band in, then I'm going to just take and taper the hair. I want it to be a long ponytail, so I'm just making sure that the ends are as uneven as possible because I want it to be long yet thick. And I'm just putting it on my door handle because that's what's easiest. And I'm just going to do a standard 3-strand braid, or 3-twist braid. I don't even know how to say it. But I'm just going to go down and braid all the way down. And I did end up using 2 packs, so I ended up feeding into 1 braid and just using the rest of the hair and combining it. In the past, some problems that I had with my braid was that it just seemed too small, so I figured using 2 packs is definitely better than using 1. And again, I'm just going in and tapering it because I kind of have to experiment to see how thick I want the braid, how long I want the braid, all that stuff. So again, just a regular normal braid I'm going through. And also, I forgot to mention this step, but you definitely need to separate a piece of hair. There's going to be a piece of hair that's left out that's going to wrap around and kind of disguise where your hair starts and the braid starts. So make sure to leave a piece of hair out. It doesn't have to be a big piece. I think I just literally took, I just guesstimated, to be honest, but I just took a piece of hair out just for that. Alright, so it's the next morning. Like I said, I really like to do this overnight because I just like to have it dry in the morning and not be waiting on it all day to dry. This is what our braid turned out like. This is how long it is. And now I'm going to be taking off my scarf and we're going to work on attaching the braid. Alright, so this is my hair the next morning. As you can see, we're pretty dry all over. I still have some bumps in my hair, but again, I mean, I've got 4C hair, so this is as sleek as we gonna get it. But I'm just going through and redoing my baby hairs. The whole point in doing them the night before was just because I didn't want them to get swept up with the rest of my hairs. It'd be really hard to bring them down. I wouldn't even try, to be honest, because they'd probably pull out. But I'm just going through and redoing them real quick, a quick little touch up. Again, they're super easy because they were already out. Alright, now for the fun part, we get to attach the braid. So what I did is put my hair in a little baby bun. It's literally too short for me to actually do a braid, which is what I would prefer, but we're just not there yet. We're making strides, but not there yet. But I just take that and I wrap it all the way around, and then I'm just going to take a shit ton of bobby pins and I'm going all the way through and just putting them in and in. This is more for me because I need security. I need that security, especially when it's like my hair. I can't just have braids on the floor falling out. So I make sure I put a lot of bobby pins. I just put them all throughout. Make sure it's nice and tight. And then I'm going to be taking this extra piece of hair that I told you about earlier and wrapping it around. This is to conceal my little baby bun and also just kind of mesh the hair together. It kind of looks like I have a cone head right now, but I promise later on, after it dries, because it's not 100% dry, but after it dries more, it's going to look a little bit better. And also I can redo this, you know, all it takes is taking it down and kind of pulling it together. I feel like the hair in the middle did not dry completely yet, so that's why it's a little poofy at the end, but that's okay. We're gonna rock with it. Alright guys, so that is the final look. I love this look because it's easy, it's simple, it's cheap, and you can just do it really quickly. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Peace!